Okay, I think we're live. Excellent. Hi. Hi, how's it going, everybody? It is Zerilath Eternal here on YouTube, and I am back. I have been on my little hiatus from operating from the studio, just doing my drive streams and things like that. And I've come across a really good opportunity here. So, some of you guys would know that I had done a long time ago a little video that I did not write it, but I produced the video for what was written for something called the Area 51 Chronicles. So, that was part and parcel of my friendship to Dr. Sean David Morton. And then I had Dr. Morton on the show sometime shortly after he was a totally free man and before the attack upon him stole his voice from us. And recently I discovered that Melissa, his beloved widow, had started to go into the public sphere to carry on the legacy of Strange Universe. And I thought to myself, my God, oh, that's cool. Melissa's stepping out of the background. I'd like to talk to her if she'll have me, and she would. So, Melissa, how are you? Your microphone, um, which is what I was worried about. I was just trying to let you know that beforehand. I just assumed everything was okay, but I do not hear you. On top of also not seeing you. You don't see I don't see or hear you. Oh, you don't see or hear me either. That's like okay, okay. I'm going to take you out and then come take you out and then come back in. All right. Let me see here. How do I do that? Sorry, guys. We're having technical difficulties. Probably something happened when I was setting stuff up. So, I want to. How do I? How do I? Ugh. I'm trying to hang up on Melissa so she can call me back. I explained to her that that's what I was gonna do, and of course, I'm still very new to this media format, to this system. Shoot. Script, share, cam. Oh my god. My apologies, people. All right. What? 1 second. All right, we're gonna resume this stream. Okay. All right. I think we're back. Good. Um, so I had to reset the stream altogether, and then I sent Melissa a invitation to the new stream. So we're just gonna take a minute here and wait for her to swing back around. My apologies, folks. I think there's some stuff happening with Uranus right now, so it can get weird. um, let me see here. I have to get all sorts of creative. Where are we at? There we go. All right.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, good. I didn't have to do tricky things
All
with.
right. Sorry about that. Got it. Like I said before, love Mercury retrograde.
Whoa!
All right. You're very quiet for some reason.
Barely hear you.
Yeah, you're very quiet as well.
Okay. Okay. Um. All right. My audio should be jacked up. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Like I'm still using the same microphone that I was using at Revolution Radio. Well, not the same microphone, but the same system with a better mic, actually. But yeah, my audio's up.
Okay.
I'm hearing you better now.
Okay, great. I closed a couple other things, so hopefully that's a little better.
Yeah, yeah, no, that sounds perfect. How you doing?
Okay, great. Yeah, I haven't set up all the other equipment yet. I still have the mic, I have the board, everything. Yeah, just using these old things. They work.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like I've been explaining, my GoPro ate it.
Oh
So
no.
I got a new webcam coming in the mail, and then I'm gonna get another GoPro that I'm not going to use as a webcam after that. Um,
Nice.
but anyway, yeah. So it's not my best look today. Um, so I was explaining because it was live, and then I was going through an introduction, and I just assumed you had your camera off. So I kind of went through the opening bit, but I'm going to repeat myself
Ah, thanks.
because I don't think you heard it. So I was explaining just the backdrop of for people who don't know that if they go back into my archives, which actually I think I have to re-upload it to this channel, but it's there on my Odyssey archives of the Area 51 Chronicles.
Wow.
My take on it, my slideshow that I made after Sean had wrote it when he was originally arrested, and that was one of my little ways of trying to help at the time,
Thank you.
and then of course I had the interview with him a few years ago while he still had his voice, right? And then
Yeah.
people then thus being the explanation that you decided around this time now that you wanted to start talking again and to basically uphold the Strange Universe legacy effectively, right?
That is correct. Yes, and branch out on my own as well. So yes,
Yeah,
continue his legacy, but I have my own talents
yeah.
and
So
desires and wants too.
it's not been a year, but you seem to be holding up real well.
Yeah, it was a little difficult, obviously, but a couple years leading up to it. So when he took his last breath and left, obviously very sad, but not unexpected.
Right.
But he had the option of staying, and I have had conversations with him since then. One of my little talents of being able to pierce the veil and talk to the other side.
Mhm.
And he could have stayed, but he chose to move on to graduate to the other side so he could do better work from there, actually. So
Yeah.
be able to, he knew there's a lot of garbage that was going to be coming up, and he would be able to give better messages, obviously have a better viewpoint, have a full understanding of everything. So that is why he did choose to move on. And
I
his body was just broken. It was just gone.
Yeah, I only wish he could have lived to have commented on the New Jersey drone phenomenon, which was
Yeah,
not all human. That was so
correct, correct.
wild. That would have been like, fuck, man, this is perfect. Like Sean would have loved talking about this for a whole fucking show.
Yes, he would
I
have.
mean,
There's a lot of stuff he would have loved to talk about.
it went on for a month, and they're trying to gaslight us that there wasn't some paranormal going on in the fucking skies.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so when you became inspired to to pick up and talk about this, what came about with that within you? Because you'd always been you like we never spoke. I always just
Right.
had heard about you and just knew what my life was, and just like I don't know. Melissa sounds like she's the most awesomest of persons. Why am I
Oh,
right?
that's very kind. Thank you. Yes, I was always behind the scenes doing all the computer stuff, struggling with the green screen this morning because I would always put that up for him as well.
Mm,
So yeah, I just decided, all right, time for me to step out. For so many years, supported him, took care of him, and kind of my turn now. And being behind the scenes, of course, I was privy to a lot of interesting conversations and different things. So there's certain things I can disclose, others that I can't, like who actually really is Ted Humphrey, who did pass last year, but who is the
I
real
was
guy?
gonna I was gonna ask if the real Ted Humphrey was carrying a connection to you, because because I'm not even sure if he's alive. I have no idea.
Correct. He actually did move on in July of last year. So I'm guessing there was probably a pretty nice little reunion, I can imagine, with the actual real individual, Fred Bell. We've lost so many recently that I'm sure there was a nice little reunion up there, and those conversations I would definitely like to hear. That would be very fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's always the imagination of it all, right? So, for those of you who don't know, don't understand who Sean is, right? Who we're talking about here? Ted Humphrey is the name of a character who is a real person whose name has been changed to Ted Humphrey by Sean to tell you the exploits of one of like this is why the Q movement pisses me off, because Ted Humphrey would be the white hat, right? He would be like
Yes.
the white hat, right? But and uh with a lot of faith. There's this relationship there that was there with Sean and him, because of how he handled things as a person in the media, right? He was an investigative journalist on television, trying to find out where you freaking put in the real hard-nosed paranormal activity, uh and metaphysical, like, conscious expanding conversations,
Right.
and trying to fit that somewhere in the milieu of people's um you know hypnosis under the circus, right?
Right.
And like, people don't want to give him credit for being the guy who brought Area 51 to public consciousness through his segment on hard copy,
Right.
right?
Yes.
um and it's been my experience, that it's that Hollywood universe, right? I've now interviewed Tom Althouse, the real author of The Matrix,
Wow.
and in that interview, like, this is what they do. What they did to Tom Althouse, they also did to Alejandro Jodorowsky when he wrote when he put Dune, just like, and this is what they want to do with Sands of Time, is
Right.
they want to rip it up and turn it into a million things, steal an idea and apply it to the wrong story. And that's what they do to the writers in the entertainment world. And Sean, his quest was to get Sands of Time into, I think a mini series would have been the right way to go.
Yes.
Yeah, to a
Yeah, that
full
was
series.
definitely a goal that he wanted, and I'm still working on that too. So that is not dead yet. So that idea and that goal of his to get this out and get the information out.
Yeah, yeah, precisely, precisely. Um, so with what you're doing, are you going to be focused on the same on all the same things that Sean was doing, or are you looking at something a little bit different? Because you're probably a very different man than your husband. You're just lovelier to look at.
Aw, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. So the answer to your question is yes, all of the above. So continuing his legacy, there are two more books that he wrote. So right now there's seven that are published, and I do have the final two, the Draco Wars. And he's been knocking on my head, get those done, get those done. Obviously, the first few months here was a little emotional, a little difficult to hear his voice, do the read his writings, etc. I moved out of state. I moved to a different state, just kind of getting my feet back under me. And so now my goal is to get those out by this fall, or at least book 8. So there will be 9 in this giant series that he has written.
Right.
And then at the same time, I've always been very empathic, intuitive, medium, and my interests have always been in on the paranormal side in ghost hunting, which I know that's kind of a fad thing right now, but
Right.
since I was just a little kid, my favorite books were always about haunted houses,
Yeah.
ghosts, not necessarily evil, but very much angelic too. So I do a lot of angelic work. So that's kind of where my focus is as well. I've always loved the strange and unusual. If it scares you, if it makes your hair stand up on your arms, if it makes you go, "Whoa, what is that?" That's what I like.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind being like a professional, like literal like Ghostbuster, right?
Yeah,
Just like, oh, you need to get him out of your haunted house, right? Like, because I practice qigong and things now, and I'm
nice.
I'm pretty sure that I could just do some energetic kung fu moves and bitch slap a demon.
It's like,
A little,
get
little,
out, get out.
a little bit of sage on the side.
There you go. Yeah, you got to have some theatrics. You got to have a little bit in there. Yeah, it's got to make it entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, precisely. Just one of the biggest difference between when I knew Sean and then many decisions I made later on when I was taking a hiatus from work with the radio station and stuff was getting into the Norse paganism a
Nice.
great deal, right? And so
Yeah.
like I bring that up because I've intuited a little bit that like the work with Thor, people think of the very physical side of what a Thor kind of oriented guy is, but there's also this monk. There's this same thing like a kung fu monk that's also within Thor because of the manner in which he is a blunt instrument and not a bladed one, right? And there's a reason
Right.
for that. It's more about pushing things away than it is about destroying a thing, although destruction may be necessary.
This is true. You have to tear things down in order to rebuild as well. So that is part of it.
Hmm.
So are you considered an Odinist, or what would you consider
Oh,
yourself?
well, these titles. Oh, these titles.
I know I hate labels too, but in titles.
These titles carry so many darn things, and then people can't like focus on you, right? Because
Yeah.
like a lot of people, they get into whatever they get into on like it's partially about finding a group belonging, right? As an aspect of it, and thus they're gonna hold down dogmatically, right? So if I sit there and I act like traditional pagan, I'm missing out on the expansion of consciousness past my ancestors. And if I go into the neo pagan, I could be diluting the traditions of my ancestors in an insulting manner, which is not spiritually healthy, right? And so there's a balance, and then there's dealing with the people that can't stand the fact that they want to think you're wrong about it, right?
Right.
Because I'm deeper than that, right? I be condemned
Yeah.
by some pagans because I say I believe that there's also uh, a creator above the gods as you know it, right?
Right.
So yeah, I'm in a certain category looking for the highest of the metaphysical truths and where my ancestral traditions uh, coincide with it.
I like that. That's very good.
Yeah,
Very nice. And if it rings true to you, that's what's most important. And that's what I tell everybody. If it feels right to you, if it gives you that joy and that comfort, that is what's most important. So I don't like the labels. I hate that, the widow
same,
label. No, I'm not.
same.
My husband just happens to be on the other side.
Yeah, yeah. Well, finding that personal mythos is part of an empowerment against the dark forces. It really is when you start understanding it on the level, right? That was part of that was just part of my inspiration about wanting to get into what was more of a new age thing, and why I liked listening to Sean as stuff, because
Nice.
like he had all the little guru bits from parts of his younger life, going out and finding himself.
Right.
That was then also tied in with all of this high, almost science fiction, by, if you were told this and shit in the 90s of what was to come, right?
Right.
And now it's a beautiful time, because now all these fucking young people actually give a fuck, right?
Yes.
There's like, and they're the ones that are energized. Young people that don't understand what this is and want to just say that all this subject matter is not a cool thing, is missing out on an enrichment of life that is currently manifesting,
Yes.
um, which I think is foundational towards getting to some of the exposures, so that were coming through the overt disclosures that Sean and you have been trying to do for your entire careers.
Correct. Entire careers and entire lives. Like you said, he basically
Yeah,
had this starting when he was little. I was very young when I had my first experiences,
yeah,
and we have the religious backgrounds and foundations, but have built upon that. So
right.
we've actually gone beyond that.
You're Mormon or ex-Mormon, right?
Yes, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right, right.
Uh, Currently inactive, but I'm very happy I have that foundation. And I did move back to Salt Lake City, so I moved back home.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
From
And
Southern California, believe me, big difference. So I'm not sure I
sure.
really fit in, but I'm figuring it out.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. But
Yeah,
like, and that's never anybody. That's never my judgment on
right.
anyone's soul. You know, although I do listen to a lot of friends that have studied some of the various branches of Mormonism that are involved in the dark side, as
Mhm.
all the
Yeah,
religions are, regardless of where you're personally at
right.
in your religion's current like thing. And like everybody gets it. A lot of times the whole wake up process, people get really violent about it. It's just like, f you because you're in the
Right,
conspiracy, because you're in that church that had that conspiracy, so f you
right,
personally.
right.
People get like, okay, I'm glad you're awake, but stop freaking nailing everybody to the cross.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
We're kind of in that period of wanting to nail everybody to the cross
Hmm.
that was sympathetic unto the naivete.
Yeah, I would agree. For the relegioning, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So, I think it's important with where things have gone in the Middle East. Never had a chance to read, what was it? Veil of the Dark Prophet was his book about the Middle East and the Middle Eastern Antichrist, right?
Yeah, there's two, Black Seraph and then the Veil of the Antichrist. So that's kind of the two series in that
Oh,
one.
so
And
it's Veil.
remind me, and I'll send you a set if you need them.
Yeah, I'd like to check that out, because I do know that there was a handful of things that were prophetic at the time, like the guy in the food cart setting himself on
Hmm.
fire, and then that
Correct.
was the thing that I think ignited the Arab Spring. Was
That's
a
right. Yes.
similar circumstance, right? And I'm just fascinated to see where things go, because, um, like, despite what we're seeing now in the world. it's like it seems like the bad guys have had a lot of losses, but they aren't lost yet.
Correct. They're still hanging on. They're still fighting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, because they have power and money, they don't want to give that up.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I think the money almost turns into a moot point when you have a different angle of leverage that money can't buy, right? You
Yeah.
know, um, because I am shocked that things are where they're at today, right? Because I thought we would still be in some sort of 2021 esque dystopia, because I thought our consciousness was that far gone.
Wow.
But, you know, that wasn't something that the unconscious psyche could hold very long. And we're kind of rebuilding from a void of spirit in this country.
Yes. There, yeah, there's still hope. We're still hopeful.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow.
So, so what is the so what's the future with what you're doing for Strange Universe and for Sean's books and legacy?
Sure. So, again, keeping his books going, they're so important. They're too important not to talk about. And they're great for someone who's just kind of getting into this. I've actually had others tell me that they use it as their Bible basically for the Black Ops, for the UFO community, government conspiracies, you name it, for time travel. So basically, they are fictionalized nonfiction. So really based on actual events, actual people, but he just found that it was easier to wrap a nice little story around it because we learn better. It's really heavy duty, some of it's very scientific, and it's just easier to learn and easier to remember. So he always thought that edutainment was the way to go. And of course, there's some, you know, that he had a great sense of humor, loved to make jokes. Learning through laughter, you learn through a lifetime. So, really want to keep these books out there, not only for everyone right now, but future generations as well. So, like I mentioned, there is hope for future. There is hope
Yeah, yeah.
for the younger generations coming up. Somebody needs to take over for us. We can't do it forever.
Right, right. I mean,
So, just
a great deal of my attitude is reflective of all the things I really got, excited about hearing Sean doing what he was doing by the time I had discovered who he was in 2012.
wow, wow.
Took me till 2012 to find like the guy who was talking cohesively enough about all this X-Filey shit. Oh wait, and then you knew the
Exactly.
guy from the X-Files. That's amazing, right?
Right, yes, yeah, actually lived it, did it, went out, ran through the weeds, researched the chupacabras. I went with him to Egypt. Oh goodness, all over the place. So the other day somebody asked me, well, what is your background? And I had to think about it. You know, I think I've forgotten more things that we've done than most people have done in their lifetime. I think I've researched and seen more things than most people. And I really had to sit back and think, wow, yeah, I have done a lot.
Yeah, yeah. When you've done absolutely so much, something that seemed like a significant locked in memory sometimes, even if it was small because you really were locked into it at the time, you have to dig
Yeah.
for it
Yeah.
after like you've stacked 50 other little things like that because you're paying attention to all the effing details because
Yes.
you actually want to get it right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're by yourself in the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza and hearing voices and hearing things and going, okay, where's the camera crew? Oh no, they're nowhere near. Yeah, this is real. Oh my goodness, this really is real. Wait, is that really the Anubis? I mean, just things like that that my mind almost couldn't wrap itself around it. The first time I saw a UFO when Sean took me out to Area 51, I literally went because I didn't know where to compartmentalize it into my brain.
Right.
Now I do, and now it's kind of like a ghost. Oh, hi, okay, great. It's just, I don't want to say that I've become immune to it all because I still find it all incredibly fascinating,
Right.
but
Right.
it's not as scary or overwhelming as it used to be.
Well, it's yeah. You've acclimated to the frequency, if you
Yes,
will, right?
true. Yes.
It's that whole kind of thing. right?
Well, and I find it very energizing. So I think I mentioned to you I went to Las Vegas last week and visited Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum.
Hmm.
And when I came out, I was jacked. I was so excited. I had so much energy. I'm sure everybody on the tour thought I was crazy because I was the first one to run into the basement, the first one to touch, Jack Kevorkian's van, the first one to do this. I'm sure they thought I was insane, but I was just excited. I mean, I was not terrified or intimidated by anything. Yes, I felt a lot of things, but it was, I was excited. I want to go back. In fact, I'm going to go on Halloween. So why
That
not? Go on the doorway.
that's good stuff. So wait, are you a scary movie person then?
Yes,
Scary
yeah, I
movies
am.
too. Okay. What's the what would be the most intense scary movie that a classy Mormon gal like you would say, no, you love that movie, that scene did it for you. What's the horrible film that hits the mark?
You know what? The Saw franchise freaks
Okay,
me out because it's anything that's psychological. If it's a demon or a ghost, it's like, okay, whatever. But
gotcha.
somebody who is an actual person who can do that to another person that's psychological, that's what freaks me out the most. And my sister loves true crime stuff. And so she watches a lot of the ID channel. And what some of these people can do to their family or do to others, that is, I'm more afraid of people than I am of demons or ghosts, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, I get it. So you're more like, so you're gonna be much more comfortable with like um Silence of the Lambs,
Yeah,
but what about like the almost inhuman but they're still human, like the Michael Myerses, you know?
correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That
Yeah,
that
and then again, are they possessed or are they just mentally ill or just, who knows what created that person, what created them to do that kind of thing?
right. I'm inspired by so many a different thing, but I think one of the most relevant that I love is the Evil Dead franchise.
Mm,
Right?
yes.
Especially because of how much I've learned about Sumerian mythology and
Okay.
demonology,
Yeah.
going
True.
down the road of who these people are.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I think Evil Dead was onto something because if that's the nature of these beasts, I would have to be Ash Williams to survive it all too. How does
Nice. Yes.
find
Yeah.
immunity from Lovecraftian madness? You're a little psychotic, and I suppose a rational coward.
Wow. Yes. That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah. Because like humans are can be very scary because of that psychological thing. But for me, it's much like J horror will do it for me. Like Japanese, like
Mm,
I
hmm.
thought Ringu, like the original Japanese version of The Ring, was
Yes.
terrifying. When I watched The Ring,
Ooh, crawling out of the TV. Yes.
okay, it was just like the footage on the video wasn't as scary to me. It looked like it was very cliche, creepy, and the face. What after seeing the demon, it was just it didn't twist my stomach the way the Japanese face distortion worked.
Mm,
Maybe because it was a Japanese face and it works against the Japanese facial features that way. Um, but that's just like an example because of the just the very reality warping nature of all that's terrifying to me because like I understand, ooh, the enemy's in front of me, the enemy's behind me, just like no, the enemy is hopping through dimensional portals and all of a sudden it's yesterday and everything is upside down. It's just like how does a noble warrior fight when their mind is under the poison of the demons reality warping, right?
right.
So this is part of why I give a fuck about magic, because if I find
Yes.
myself in this situation in service of the higher force, I at the very least need to keep my personal shit together.
Right. And we do need to recognize both white and black magic so we can tell the difference between them. So I know a lot of, oh no, you study black magic. Yeah, so I can recognize it and so I can combat it.
Hmm.
So, yes, I do a lot of angelic, but I need to recognize the other side as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I can't tell you how valuable it is just knowing what Solomonic magic is when you're looking at it, right? They actually made a great point of this. They did the when they did the new Nosferatu with Robert Eggers, they were real tight on the
Wow,
Solomonic imagery on his black craft. Very
interesting.
accurate to the to Draco Setian freaking like just the
Wow.
vile stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I will put that one on my list. I have not seen that one. I will definitely look
Yeah.
for it.
I think you'll like I'm a big Eggers, like I fell in love with the Northmen, like,
Yeah,
this is like I've allowed a lot of things to help me transform since the Revolution Radio days.
nice.
um yeah. Yeah. So um so are you going to be going through so you're going to be doing Strange Universe as a regular show? Is it going to be like a 5 day a week thing? What are you going to be doing? You're going to be on broadcast somewhere, right?
Right, just once a week. So
Okay.
for now, just once a week.
Hmm.
I got a lot of other things going on, so yes, I'm going to be doing that for once a week on
Yeah.
Strange Universe Radio. And it is strangeuniverseradio.com, still kept the website, strangeuniverseradio at gmail.com, so kept everything in place. I was the one who did it all anyway, so I took care of all the social media, took care of the websites, took care of everything.
Right, right, right. You know, Queen of Swords. Queen
Yeah,
of Swords.
exactly.
Right. So you've got yeah, the link should be in the description below for Strange Universe
Thank you.
Radio .com, where you can keep appraised on all those things and pick up copies of Sean's book and so on and so forth.
Exactly, the sands of time. So thank you. I appreciate that. And then I'm going to branch out as well and uh, starting to do some reading, some sessions for others, just getting my feet wet again, getting my practice. So at some point I will start doing the intuitive sessions for others as well. Just to give some guidance and if they have messages that they need from the other side. So I do intuitive mediumship, not evidentiary, but more intuitive where I can get the messages and basically just help others. So a lot of issues going on, a lot of people having, questions about things. So I'm here for them basically, even just to be just an ear to listen to them. No judgment, just here to help.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's always good with those services. I have a handful of my own.
Yes.
Um
So I'm just curious what caused you to go more into Thor and what took you to your path. So, because I'd same, I've never really even spoken to you that much. I mean, we kind of passed a little bit, but I would like to hear a little bit more about your
oh,
story as well.
okay. Well, thank you.
I know. So now I'm interviewing you now.
That's all right. This happens once in a while. I had Bruce McDonald on, but he
uh,
also went live on Telemanco Review, and so he started asking me questions while I was asking him questions. It was
yeah,
pretty
we're
funny.
having a great conversation. Why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bruce and Bruce loves you and Sean to death.
Oh,
He always counts you amongst the various martyrs in this truth war.
thank you.
So
Yes.
always us, warriors, the new breeds here. We're, God sent reinforcements. Hi.
That's
um,
right. We paved the path for everybody else coming behind us, and we're still fighting. We're still out there in the weeds and chopping things down.
yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly, exactly. Well, I was the I wanted to be capable of doing something about things personally, about everything I was
Nice.
looking at, right? And I said to
Yeah.
myself, um, I'm in this position in my life. and with this voice, a little bit of influence. At the very least, there's people listening to me that I think it matters that they hear, and I can, you know, work my mind in such a way. And I was finding things because I was very interested in piecing things together about world history and everything else anyway.
I like it.
So I came across things that personally meant a lot to me on the inner side of my soul while I was figuring things out. It's just like, okay, like everybody is going and getting into all these like gods from India and from and Native American grandmother spirits and yada yada yada, and it's just like then I look further, it's just like everybody's got gods that are very interesting before Christianity came in, because part of it was the study of the Christian conspiracies and why did they have to do such awful things to seem like very decent pagan human beings that didn't want to
Right.
fucking convert and were not a fucking problem for nobody as far as the spiritual conversation is fucking
Yep.
concerned, except that human sacrifice is a thing, but then again, we give people the death penalty, and then when you look deeper into the human
Yep.
sacrifice aspect of it, it was actually very, very rare, right? And so
Right.
you realize there was a whole mischaracterization. The long story short is, you start figuring out like oh so this is what Thor is actually like, and he's much more interesting than the comic book character.
But Izzy is hot. No,
Ah, well, he's a red.
that's all I care. No.
He's a redhead. Do you like gingers? He's a ginger.
Yes, I used to be a redhead, and then I
Right.
let it go natural.
Well, then he may be the deity for you, man.
Yes, as with my Scottish background, my Scottish ancestry. Yes.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yes.
I'm yeah. I found out that I am of British Norman descent as a
Nice.
Purdy, which sometimes
Ah, right.
my family name, which is
Yes.
Purdy.
Yes.
Upon the examination of the Purdy crest, it's the closed shield. It's Templar.
Oh,
So my
nice.
family has Templar, Crusader Templar blood, right?
Yes. Yep. Mine too. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, as far as I'm concerned, there's an inner dragon within me that is woken up from looking at all this stuff, finding the connections, having that personal whatever. I'm just like, it's like a cultural appropriation thing. So it's like white man. It's all good that you love an African god and stuff like that. What is wrong with our gods,
Right. Right.
right? Um,
Now, is that a God with a big G or the little G's?
these
Or
are just
both?
the little G's. But
Yes.
here's what I find is interesting in the mythos for it, right? The mythology of the Norse, the Germanic, and the Rus, uh, they only go back as far as the Ice Age, effectively,
Okay.
right? We're actually the white peoples, if you will, the Arctic races are kind of a newer kid on the block. They're so although the comparative mythology that relates us to the whole human family is still there, our mythology has a different relationship because it came after the reset of that ice age time,
Interesting.
right? So,
Okay.
or the time of that last cataclysm where there was the continuity break of civilization, right? So we have a different perspective on concepts of the anti-gods. We have a different relationship. It is why where amongst other mythologies you get into all this stuff that endorses all these cults that are outside of like family tradition cults, right? There's
Right.
family tradition cults and then there's recruited based cults, right? Like
Okay.
Dionysus.
Yeah.
It's a Greek, it's basically a Greco-Roman thing, the Dionysian
Right.
cult, but like you weren't necessarily born a like Dionysian tradition, right? That was something
Right.
that you could go and join and come to that understanding of this the existence of this deity and your want to be in worship of it, and so on and so forth, right? Or like Hecate is kind of like a Lilith, who's kind of like a mother of
Mm,
monsters kind
okay.
of
Yeah.
situation, and
Right.
people go one way or the other. Like with the black, I've met plenty of lovely people that uh, worship Hecate, but
Hmm.
a deeper level of the mythos, there's an issue with anti-gods that's there, right? It's
Right.
just, it's an interesting thing because our mythos doesn't have it. Basically, it doesn't have the same story about um, outsiders coming, falling from heaven, and then saying they're the gods and confusing everything, right? Because it's looking at that story as an outsider. It's
Oh,
a fascinating manner. It's just like it's a lot to get into, but you see all
right.
of a sudden in its archaic way that these myths are in this
Okay.
book
And
writing.
where do possible extraterrestrials fit into that if they came to
Yeah,
the planet?
dark sorcerers from Atlantis opened up the portals to invite them in around the same time that
Right.
they were taking over the Atlantis internal structures to set up the devastation of the prior realm.
Right.
So that's roughly when they came in. That's why in the Bible you've got like hey, the Elohim, yeah, we had a council, Noah, and we said we're axing the place and you're the bag man, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right.
So yeah, that was an aspect of it, right there, and that all happened in the Middle East
Yes.
because when the world was separated from the Hyperborean origins in the north through the Great Ice Wall during the Ice Age,
Mm-hmm.
humanity made the land of Kemet the new central axis mundi for social order as an imitation of Mount Meru, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, up in
Okay.
the great north,
Right.
right? And that was also a major portal place for bringing in um, the outer gods, the anti gods.
Wow. Fascinating. No, I love it. That's brilliant. Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. It's quite the equation when you start decrypting the northern mythos, which has this privilege of being separated from the troubles in the southern part of the world.
Yes. I agree. Thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that because
Yeah,
I'm fascinated. So
I,
no, it's
I
great.
I know. I try to come back to my old friends with greater gifts of knowledge than they.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. Wow. Interesting.
Yes. Um. So, uh, um, are you Do you have? So, are you in contact with all of Sean's old contacts? Can we expect going forward? We're going to hear from you working with anyone still operating around.
Yes. And I have been in contact. And again, a lot of it was just waiting for me to be ready and to get myself kind of back on my feet again. But I am in contact with a lot of a lot of his contacts. So thankfully I had everything, had all computers, had everything. So absolutely.
All right, that's
So
excellent.
it's not lost. Let's put it that way. Nothing has been lost. So just he himself, which was a huge loss, but thankfully the information, his knowledge can continue on. And that was something that I did discuss with Sean, and that I think was another reason why he knew he could move on
Mhm.
because it was in good hands.
Excellent, excellent.
Hopefully it's in good hands. So I think he left it in good hands.
Um, will you be getting a lot of information on the government intrigue side of things, talking to all the kinds of people that may or may not be capable of telling us what's going on in the on the
What's
future.
really going on? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that whole bit.
Yeah, I do have some information, but and at the same time, I'm being a little bit careful.
Sure.
So I saw what happened to him.
Right.
I'm not a target that I know of,
Mhm.
hopefully. And so that is kind of why I am going a little bit more with the intuitive. So when I get information, then I'm going to take the intuitive side of it and maybe frame it that way. Sean always said that it was really easy to discredit an intuitive or a psychic. So that's why he always kept that side of himself kind of going
Right.
and oh well, I got this information from the angels or something, so I can actually give that information but be very careful where I got it from. So I am seeing what happened to him, trying to be a little bit careful.
All right.
And the way I look at it is I don't have a death wish, but I'm not afraid of it. So I think I might be a little bit different than he was, that way that I'm willing to also throw myself out there,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So it's like,
Hey,
why not? What the heck?
hey, look, I've been throwing myself out there. I was there behind the scenes when he had that interview with Colonel Aquino,
Yes.
running psychic protection in the backdrop with whatever mantras I was rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that is the one thing I've learned. The older I get, the less I give a crap. So yes.
Right, right, exactly, exactly, and some of this game, the courage, the courage combined with the right words overcomes a great deal. Um, so, uh, uh, tell me a little bit more about uh, um, the things you do in your with your spiritual practice, right? Like like you have meditations or any kind of energy works or whatever that you do.
Absolutely. So I do a lot of meditations, probably too much sometimes, but it keeps me grounded. It keeps me centered. I do a lot of crystal work. I do know astrology. I know numerology. So I do a lot of things, and I know this sounds funny, but with football season coming up, I don't know if you remember that I used to do the football picks too. So kind of doing that again. That's just kind of a fun thing that I do on the side. So do the football things, but definitely a lot of the meditations, tapping into my higher self, my higher guides. Sean is now among those as well,
Hmm.
and then we'll start being getting that information out. So just very recently have started to branch out and get out and do this. So I just kind of had to heal a little bit and figure out who I was. And so for so many years, I was Sean's wife.
Yeah,
And now who am I? Yes, I am still his wife, but who am I as well?
absolutely, absolutely, and we're definitely going to see how you shine. Um,
Thank you.
I'm trying to think what else to ask right now. We've been going almost an hour,
Yes.
a little less so. Um, and I knew that you are, just like yet still just doing what you do. Uh, maybe talk a little bit about your relationship, like Sean loved Disney and Disneyland and all that stuff, and so like what about you and Disney and seeing what's going on with Hollywood and entertainment.
Absolutely. Yes, Disney was a big part of our lives. Actually, since I was a little kid, it was a big part of my life. My dad would come home and say, "Hey, let's go to Disneyland," and we'd jump in the car and drive to California and go to Disneyland. And I actually worked at Disney from 2013 to 2016.
Right.
And Sean would bring me out, drop me off, and then he would go park the car and he would go out to Tom Sawyer Island, and that's where he wrote a lot of Sands of Time. So it actually, while he was waiting for me while I was working, he did a lot of work sitting out there writing the books. And just noticed over the years the saying, you go woke, you go broke. And Disney definitely did that with Snow White, with all, the DEI, all this other stuff. I mean, just it's so bad. And I think they finally figured it out that that is not their audience. That's not what they should be marketing to. And I think pretty much every company has learned that as well. And I did go to Disney last week. It was a tradition. On July 17th is Disneyland's birthday, so that was their actual 70th birthday.
Okay.
And then last Saturday, July 19th, would have been our 23rd anniversary.
Mm.
So I spent that in Disney, and I may or may not, I am not going to confirm, left a little bit of Sean where he wrote Sands of Time, but again, I'm not going to confirm that, but
Okay. Okay.
because I'm not sure if that's legal
Yeah.
or not, but yes, may or may not have left a little bit of Sean in Disneyland.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I think, again, a lot of the companies have learned that, oh goodness, what Budweiser and so many
Yeah.
companies that tried to do this woke thing, that is not what anybody wants.
Right. I saw Fantastic Four last night because
Mm,
one of the harshest critics, the critical drinker, actually said Fantastic Four was good. So I said, all right, I'm gonna blow my
okay,
money on it and see if they did it. And you know what? They did it. They nailed it.
good,
It was good.
good,
You haven't seen Fantastic Four yet? Go see Fantastic Four. I liked it.
right.
Like even though they did female Silver Surfer, it
Yeah,
wasn't a woke decision. They handled it like it's just like okay, all right, that works because they didn't like make it like they didn't change it because she was a female character. It was
right.
literally
Technically, Silver Surfer didn't have a gender, basically.
I thought he was I thought his gender was just irrelevant because he was a slave to Galactus.
Correct. Yes.
I don't know,
Hmm.
something along those lines. But
Yeah.
long story short is that everything that they said they're worried about was going to be there in the film was not. There wasn't
Nice.
this weird like Sue Storm is a boss girl like thing, like she's some sort of feminist or what. Like that wasn't in it. And Pedro
Great.
Pascal was very good. He's fine. We can keep him. I like him.
Good. He's in everything right now, but he's great. So he seems to be
This
pretty
was my
great.
first Pedro Pascal film,
Wow.
and I wouldn't have seen it if Critical Drinker hadn't said something, and my other guy for movies hadn't said anything yet either. So he hasn't seen the film yet, obviously. Um,
Yeah, I'm still real pleased with what Marvel has done. They pretty much kind of stay with the comic books. DC, not so much. I don't know what's happening with DC. Although I have not seen the current Superman, I really want to because
yeah,
he's gorgeous. But yeah, so but I'm been very pleased with what Marvel has done.
yeah,
And Sean was a huge comic book person, so just
right,
by
absolutely,
association, I read a lot of them too. So
right, right,
so
right,
kind
right.
of sci-fi and comic books here.
Yeah, naturally, and like a lot of things is incorporated in especially with the Marvel films, there was so much soft disclosure.
Yeah.
There were so many like sands of tiny things going
Yes.
on in there because, regardless of Sands of Time, it doesn't matter because Sands of Time is based on the real shit that they're fucking stealing it all from, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
I have seen I haven't seen the ships, but I've seen the clouds and I know where the cloaked craft are in the sky,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes.
once
Yeah.
you've hit that threshold, which took watching one YouTube channel,
Nice.
realism. It's the only channel out there that brought that to consciousness, and
Wow.
it's still on the fringes because the guy
Yeah.
kind of disappeared.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm surprised it
and
was even on YouTube.
I had interviewed Sean on my show. I may have even interviewed Sean Goutreau on Strange Universe on some of the days where Sean was out.
Wow.
I might have had him in on one or two episodes. A
Nice.
lot of the archives of me and Sean didn't survive because they were on Rev Radio exclusively. It
But
took me a while.
I bet I know somebody who has them.
Oh,
I've got a lot of archives.
cool. I want to re-listen to the Aquino episode because I've got
Right.
friends that are studying the Process Church and as well as those Mormon cults and things. They're studying that whole envelope over in the
Interesting.
Occult Rejects, and
Wow.
um, I've always told them like I was there when Sean did that Aquino thing, and
Yes.
like the deep state knows who I am, and fuck them, right?
That's
That's
right. There you go. I like
right.
it.
That's just and back then when it was revolutionary, like I'm like 30 something years old, like I'm the youngest guy in the fucking game,
Hmm.
like at that time.
Right.
Nobody else in Gen X was interested.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've been a groundbreaker. You've been on the forefront here for quite some time.
yeah, yeah.
And thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Abs-
You're going
And
to keep it going.
thank you, thank you for inspiring me. Thank your husband
Thank you.
for inspiring me. The work of these generations, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I think we've been about an hour. I think this is good for our first session today.
Absolutely. And please feel free to have me on anytime. And I just enjoyed speaking with you too. Finally, it's
Yeah,
nice.
absolutely. We'll talk again after you've put out a little bit more material. I want to be able to talk about what what you're doing next,
Thank you.
right? Because
Yes.
there's Sean's got this big got this big legacy that you're carrying on, and um uh there's so many points of conversation that are smaller details, or details that maybe are past their time because they were solved issues, right? Because
Right.
we're on the other side of this effing looking glass, where
Yes.
people like us that were on point, were validated.
Right.
Disappointed by many a thing,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
also validated by the most
Correct.
critical of things. And how do you take that? Because look at the humble rewards of simply not being enslaved and being dirt poor after the apocalypse. It was just like it's kind of okay.
Exactly.
It's all right. It's just I'm not in a dystopian prison yet, but they keep threatening me with it. But we're still okay.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
Then
Yes.
I can ascertain life right now until humanity wakes up.
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely. But you're absolutely right. What is next?
Yeah, yeah. So everybody, thank you so much. As we spoke earlier, strangeuniverseradio.com. The link is in the description below to keep up to date with everything that'll be happening. And when you're putting out material, that's going to be on that website. But will it be also on YouTube or anything like that?
Yes, I'm going to start doing that as well. So have a TikTok, Instagram, X, on everything. So on all the social medias, and I will be updating the website. It's very outdated. I've not been good at keeping it up, but I will definitely get there.
Yeah.
And I'll be going to various expos, seminars. There's one in Las Vegas, the middle of September at the Alexis Park Hotel. That's with David Farman. So actually, I'll be getting out there as well. So
All
you can
right.
actually come see me in person.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
And so much it's like it's got to get out of the West Coast. Not out of the West Coast, it needs to be in the West Coast, but it needs to be all over the place, right?
Yes,
All these
correct.
expos and things like that. And like I mean, and it makes sense because there's so many guys that are up in the air over there as opposed to like the stuffy intellectual East Coast, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's why I always loved it when New Life Expo was coming around. The possibility of meeting Sean. I got to meet Sean a handful of the very few people was I
Nice.
ever in that position doing all this stuff
Wow.
where here it is. I can shake his hand. I can say hi. Oh wow, we're sitting down and having lunch together. Yada yada
Hmm.
yada. And it made me feel like I was part of the movement.
Yep. And he was so good at that. He would spend time and just hours and hours talking to everyone. He really genuinely cared. He had a huge heart and really did care about everyone.
Yeah, yeah, and and he could go. You weren't
Yes, he
sure.
could.
Like if he was getting tired, he hit it perfectly, right?
Hmm.
Just like he
Yep.
was always at that energy level.
He was. Yep.
yeah.
Definitely.
He was a fun guy. He was a fun guy to listen to, and and always made sure that you got to a point that meant something.
Exactly. And I do miss those conversations and his humor. He was just
Oh,
funny. He was really a funny guy.
right, exactly. And wokeness was a direct attack on his best sexist joke.
Which one? There was many of them. And I do know him, but I'm not going to say him.
Anyway, all right. I thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you.
with me, Melissa. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Things were not incredibly active here in the chat, just probably because a lot of my audience doesn't have as much of an attachment with exactly how I did things back in the day. So, like, who's Melissa Moore? They'll check
Yes.
me out later, and then maybe there'll be
Nice.
50 views.
No worries. It's all good. Like I said, just kind of starting out here. So
All right.
they know the name, but not really me. So it's all good.
Yeah. All right. So we're going
Awesome.
to end the stream right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.